Hi guys, and welcome to Freckle Finance. Today is my much overdue wedding cost and all about my wedding. So first of all, it was way nicer than I thought and way cooler, and oh my god, I can't believe how beautiful I looked. I will post a picture. But yes, my wedding turned out so much better, and I think the money was well worth it. So first of all, I should say we did go over budget. There are some hiccups that came along the way that had us spend more money last minute than we had anticipated. Things that we expected we weren't going to have to pay any money for, we had to pay money for, stuff like that. But overall, we actually were only $300 over budget approximately. So what we initially planned on spending was $15,000. And I know for some people that's still a lot of money for a wedding, and we're not saying it wasn't. We do feel if you're going for a frugal sense, we got a very nice wedding in this budget. I mean, we live in Toronto. People casually spend $40,000 on their weddings here, and I think mine looked better. I mean, I'm obviously biased. It's my wedding, and I picked it according to how I liked it, but we had a very nice venue, and I couldn't believe how awesome the photos turned out. Like, oh, they look so good. So yeah, we ended up spending $15,298.40. So I am going to go over the individual costs of things, but I'm not going to go over the individual costs of everything. And basically, while I was at my wedding, and I was even still deciding whether I really wanted to make this video, I decided I think it's not, sorry, I'm having trouble saying this. It's not great to let your guests know how much you spent on something. They may feel bad. They may feel like, I don't know. People may feel certain ways about knowing exactly what you spent on them specifically or whatever. So I'm not going to go into full details. Basically, food, alcohol, venue costs, the costs for the ceremony and all that stuff, I'm just going to lump into one category. And that way I don't feel like people will feel bad. Because first of all, like we paid for alcohol by consumption, not by people. So I don't want people feeling like, oh, maybe they drank too much alcohol, because that's a huge alcohol cost or something like that. So I just want to keep all that together so people don't feel a certain way about anything. And also, as for reference, we paid for 60 guests, and then we had to pay for food for the DJ and for our photographer. So it was about 60 people worth of stuff. So, I mean, yeah, 15,000 is kind of a lot for that size of a wedding, but just the photos will be very beautiful. I just have my computer over here with my budget beside me because I kept very detailed track of everything. So first of all, our hotel room was very expensive. It came to $353. I will be posting some pictures. There's some pictures of me before the wedding, and I kind of felt like I was modeling. It was actually a pretty cool experience, but you will see pictures of the room. So it was a very nice room. We are not big hotel spenders, but basically that's the cost you pay to get a hotel on site there. It's all. And then marriage license, $140. That's just what it costs. You cannot get a discount on that. If you want to get married in Ontario, you're paying $140 to the government. So my dress, the total cost came to $442. My initial very first budget was $500. Now I got the dress, as I stated in a previous video, for $200. I did have to get the bustle made on the dress. That came to somewhere around 50 something dollars. I don't have the exact breakdown anymore. And then I had to get a dress cleaning, which cost over $50, but the dress was actually quite dirty on the bottom. I bought it, off the rack, basically. People had tried it on. It wasn't like super well taken care of. I mean, the dress was in good shape, but if you had seen the store, a lot of dresses had like rips and stuff in it. And but if I haven't shown the picture of the dress in this video yet, you will see it at the end. You will all be very shocked. Most people were shocked at how little I spent on this dress. So that's probably my proudest purchase, because I'm not even that much into fashion, and I got such a good deal on the dress. Okay. So as well, sorry, I'm not going to say how much was spent on his suit, as it was paid for by his parents, and I think that's rude to say how much a gift was from somebody else. So It was a very nice suit though. And for photography, we paid 11,000, sorry, whoa, not 11,000, $1,130. I think it turned out really great. We basically got a package that they give us the digital copies, and we are going to be editing photos, but most of the photos don't really need that much editing. Our ceremony was candlelit, and there's, what is it called? Those stained glass windows. So that's all there was for lighting, and it was very dark. But aside from that, it was very dark, and so the photography in there is still quite dark, but I mean, he did a pretty good job. It was way darker in person than it was in the photos. So those will need maybe some touch-ups to get them brighter, but aside from that, like the photos that I got done beforehand, I don't think any of them need any editing at all. I am so proud of those photos, and they brought a second photographer, so we got a really amazing deal, I think, on photography. I did have a budget for flowers, and I honestly am not sure what they actually charged us exactly. I'm a little confused. It came all in the total bill. I don't think they overcharged us or anything, but I think it was around $400 for flowers. We didn't really have that many flowers. We had centerpieces, small little centerpieces. They ended up being, I think, $20 per table. And I bought the bowls, and I bought them from the dollar store, and I included that in the price somewhere. So I did account for like, I think $16 or something for all the centerpieces bowls from the dollar store. And then the cake, I'm estimating, because I don't have the exact price, that I spent about $150 on my cake. So that is because I had to purchase all new materials, which I will be able to use the next time I make a cake. And I made a butter-based cake. I wanted to make sure it was very like good tasting cake, because you can make, like, I'm not a fan of like birthday cake kind of cake, so I wanted to make it fancier, and it had a lot of butter in it. So butter's kind of expensive. It adds up when you're making a cake that feeds quite a lot of people. And I'm happy to say that I'm pretty sure all my cake actually got eaten. And I had a friend who was like, I had seconds, your cake is so good. I don't know if she's just like a real supporter of me. I actually forgot to eat cake at my own wedding, so I have no idea what it tasted like. But as you saw, I did do a taste test on my first version of the cake, which was very tasty. So the wedding bands came to $675.81. Most of that cost was my wedding band. He bought his online from like overstock.com. He bought actually 2 wedding bands because the shipping cost was more of the money, and we're just not really fancy ring people. So I have the allergies, which is why I got a platinum ring. He doesn't. So I think he spent like $91 in total with shipping for 2 rings. So yeah, I kind of feel bad that I spent a lot on the ring, but remember, no engagement ring, so I guess we saved on that. For hair, makeup, and nails, I spent $200. I still feel like that's a lot of money, but we did a really good job. I had my friend's like best friend do my hair, and she came in and she did a really, really good job. I was actually really happy. The hair held up for the night, except for stuff that you can't help, like, you know, I was sweating from dancing on the floor and my hair got frizzy and stuff, but yeah, it didn't fall out or anything, and I thought it looked so good. And the makeup I did on site, and I kind of don't totally recognize my face, but they actually did like the kind of no makeup look and then put eyeliner on. I think a little too much eyeliner because I don't really wear makeup. I'm only wearing mascara right now. That's all I've ever, I think, worn for these videos, which is more than I wear in real life. So music was $650. We originally were going to pay more for that, but we took an hour off the time of our reception, which turned out great because you get really tired at the end of the night and you kind of want some time to relax, you know, on your wedding night. So we ended it an hour earlier, which was 12 o'clock. It's still a totally reasonable time to end it at. And, you know, he's a friend of my husband's sisters, so he made sure that he charged us properly, which is great. He was an amazing DJ. We got such a good deal. He brought in lights and everything, and we even had these lights put under our head table, and they were green, and we basically were like, oh yeah, if you want to bring those lights, great. Like, we trust your judgment. And I was like, wow, this looks so good. It doesn't look tacky or anything like that. So he was a really good DJ, and I know he watched the one video, so if you're watching this video, you did a good job. Wedding favors was $3. Actually, I'm going to show you what the wedding favors look like, so one moment. All right, so here is the wedding favor. This one's a little bent. I made it previously and it was bent, so I didn't have it. So basically it's pretty simple. I ordered this off Amazon, and this is such a pretty green, and green was one of my wedding colors, and I didn't really feel like my room had that much color in it, so I thought incorporating this green thing popped a color, and I really think it did. By the time I got into the room, most people have eaten it. It had, I believe it had gummy bears in it, so it's inexpensive, but I don't think people thought it was cheap or anything. Like, they're really cute, and honestly, most people who spend a lot of money on wedding favors, it's stuff that never really gets used, so I didn't feel a need to spend like hundreds of dollars on a wedding favor. Gifts for the wedding party, for obvious reasons, I'm not stating how much we spent on that. So most of the cost went to our wedding reception, and that came to $10,179. So that includes food, the venue, the reception room, the ceremony room, the minister who married us, we had an organist, we had late night food, and you know, the alcohol and all that. So like basically everything, and the cost of the flowers are all included in that. So the vast majority of the money is that we spent on the wedding is all in that. And within that too, we had late night food, which was also a gift for us. So that was great. So by the way, when I told you the total of the cost, that's the total cost of the wedding, not the total cost that we spent. That was literally the total cost of the wedding. So, I mean, once you get into 5 digits on something, it feels like a lot of money, and you know, it is a lot of money, but I still think it was great. The food was amazing. The people were like raving about the food, which is what I saw in the reviews and which is what attracted me to this venue. As I said in a previous video, the food being good was really, really important to me, and also it being a nice venue. So the food, I couldn't even believe it. And actually there was some decent service. Like, we sat down and they handed us hors d'oeuvres. You know, you miss your hors d'oeuvre, you miss cocktail hour because you're taking photos. And we sat down and they handed that to us, and I thought that was a really, really nice touch. As well, this is totally just in regards to the wedding itself, but one of my husband's groomsmen is a classically trained violinist, and he actually, like, I think all of us knew before the ceremony actually happened, but like up until maybe 10 minutes before it happened, I had no idea. But he decided to walk in early, he walked in with all the groomsmen actually, but he set up with the organist and he played the violin for when I walked in, and that was so cool. Like, it's a really cool present to have, to find out like, oh, you got to play violin, because we didn't ask him to play violin because we were like, we want you to be part of the wedding party. We didn't want him to like have to feel stressed about something else. But yeah, that was really cool. So total side note about the finance, because obviously we didn't pay anything for that, but that was a really cool gift. And there's just a few more items left. I got my shoes, which I can show you a picture of because there's literally just a picture of my shoes. They are green. They are the wrong color of green. And, well, I don't care. The shoes were comfortable. They were green. They were cute. And they cost $23. So they weren't exactly the right cover. Most of the time they were covered up anyways, so I didn't want to make a big deal about it. And honestly, I bought green shoes, so trying to find the exact right green color of shoes that are comfortable and the right height, etc., and comfortable. I think I already said that, like, nah, I didn't want to get too picky about it, so that's what I spent. And then the guest book and seating chart, I'm not actually sure of this full price. The seating chart was made by my now sister-in-law. She did a really good job. She picked out some photos and everything to put on there of us, and that was really cool. And the guest book, I have $50 as in the category. I know that more was spent on just the one item, so maybe that's a little inaccurate. Sorry guys. I don't know what the guest book cost, probably $20. And then we did a little untraditional thing in our wedding, or it could be considered very, very traditional if you have any Celtic heritage, which obviously I do, but definitely is not done in my family. And we did a hand fasting ceremony, which was also great because it uses a ribbon, and we got to bring a green ribbon, so we got to have our wedding color in the ceremony. So I believe there are photos of I believe I'm going to put up a photo of what it looks like because I don't think there's a photo without other people in it, but you should definitely look up hand fasting ceremony, especially if you want something that's really cute, not necessarily like, you can be whatever religion and do it. It's not like attached to a religion. It's just something that used to be done in, you know, like Scotland and Ireland, probably before it was even Scotland and Ireland. I don't really know the full history, but it was for people who couldn't afford rings basically, and it was like tying the knot is basically what it is. So it was like, woohoo, you guys tied the knot. So that was really cool. A last minute thing we added is we went to see the venue kind of to figure out everything right before the wedding happened. And they told me that I could have a candy table and I could bring that in, because usually when they cater, they don't want you bringing any food in. They're like, no, a candy table is okay. And I got so excited. I spent $45 on candy, and anything that wasn't eaten at the wedding was eaten pretty soon after. For sure, chocolate covered almonds were gone. There was another candy, I think fuzzy peaches, yeah, they were gone so quickly, so those were our two favorites. And I just went to Bulk Barn. I think it would have been a lot more expensive if I went anywhere else. And I just took my own bowls that I had at home. I already have green bowls because, you know, as I've discovered, I really, really like green, and I own green bowls. I don't know. So I use green, and I had white bowls, and that's what I used. It wasn't the fanciest looking part of the wedding, but whatever. I didn't want to buy new bowls just for a candy table that I spur of the moment added. And that was our total cost. That was all the items, and the total cost was $15,298.40. So if this video is not too long, I will be adding the pictures now. If the video is too long, maybe I will just do a separate video with some kind of wedding-y like song. Obviously I have to do one that is not copyrighted. If you want to know the wedding song we did choose, it was Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. People like got excited that song was happening, and I'm very attached to the song now. So very, very pretty song. So the song we danced to with our parents was I Hope You Dance by, I think it's Leanne Womack. I had another song picked out to dance with just my dad, but we both really don't like dancing in a big group just like staring at us, so we combined it together. And that's the song we had chosen for him and his mom, and we decided we would just do that one together. But I think it was Cinderella. I can't remember who the singer was that did it, but it was such a beautiful song about a girl growing up and being a princess, and her prince comes along, and the dad just wants to dance with her. So they were both songs about dancing, and obviously it's for a dance, so that was cool. But yeah, and also the day went by so fast. Like, I had no time to be nervous at all. I had like one moment, I think it was right before I went to get my makeup done, and I almost cried. I was by myself walking to get my makeup done, and I had time to like freak out, and then that was it. The entire rest of the time I had no time to be nervous. Actually, there's photos, I clearly look terrified in some photos because it's a lot of attention put on you. But yeah, and then my oldest brother, well, he's my only older brother, he emceed the whole wedding, the reception, but yeah, so it was very good. The speeches were great. People really enjoyed not having to pay for alcohol, I'm sure, and I was impressed by the dance floor. I've gone to some weddings where the dance floor doesn't do that well, and yeah, my wedding was really great. So next week's video is going to be on the honeymoon and our estimated costs for what it did cost. I didn't keep a detailed budget, but I have an approximate. So see you then. Bye. So and it's great because I actually took videos of